Hi everybody, my name is Josh, and I'm here to talk to you today about the new movie from James Gunn that I just watched, R-rated Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. No, wait, that's wrong. I'm sorry, The Suicide Squad. That's right. It's the sequel slash reboot slash remake of 2016's Frankenstein of a movie, Suicide Squad.
Drop the. It's cleaner.
Now, I'm a big James Gunn fan. The two Guardians of the Galaxy movies in the MCU are among my favorites. I thought Slither was a very good movie as well. So I wasn't really surprised when I heard there was a lot of very positive buzz about the movie when I went to watch it last night. Right now, it's one of the highest rated superhero movies on Rotten Tomatoes by critics and fans. So I was really excited to sit down and watch a weird, wacky movie from the mind of a pretty good filmmaker, in my opinion. And what I found was a film that was fine. Suicide Squad's not a bad movie. It's not a disaster like almost everything else in the DCEU. But I'm very shocked to see just how many people out there are saying that this is a good and even great movie. There's some people who are saying that this is one of the best comic book movies of all time, and this is, so much better than anything that Marvel has put out in the recent years, to which I have to say,
surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Look, the movie is funny, it's irreverent, there are some characters that are very charming, but it has some very, very big flaws that, for some reason, I feel like people are just overlooking. Look, I'm not a comic reader or a professional movie critic. I'm a writer. I'm somebody who loves a good story. And since I have such a widely divergent view on the Suicide Squad from everybody else, I decided I would go back and rewatch the movie, recording my reactions and also writing down and talking about some points that I noticed on my second go-through, point out where I have some issues, and see if maybe my attitude has changed on that second viewing. Now, obviously, major spoilers to anybody who hasn't seen The Suicide Squad. If you do, you can go on HBO Max and watch for yourself. This is not a market substitute. I'll be limiting the amount of clips I show and muting in some places to comply with copyright. And also, I will, be pausing and talking about some points throughout, and maybe those will be things that later on when I go through and do a full breakdown of the story and the structure, maybe I'll pull a few of the things that I discuss out and talk about them a little more in depth. But without further ado, let's watch The Suicide Squad. Alright, so this is my second time watching. I watched it for the first time last night, and I was underwhelmed is the way I would put it, given the hype that surrounded it. So I want to see if on a second viewing how it stands up.
So this is the famous Suicide Squad.
Well,
hey, that's the name of the movie.
The official term is Task Force X. Love them or hate them, these are your brothers and sisters for the next few days.
So this is one of the big problems, is that the trailer really gave away so much of the plot. Like, I knew almost everybody on this group was going to die.
And it stands for what?
Stands for me. That's what a name is.
Your name is letters?
All names are letters, dickhead.
That's a made-up word.
What was made up?
See, this movie started off so well. Like, the line of humor, I was so in on this. Like, these scenes are great.
Did anyone check on where the weasel could swim?
I love how they're making it so clear very early on. These people are expendable. They don't care. Like, well, they kind of care, but they're a government bureaucracy. They just give no shits.
Attacking you!
Blackguard, get back into your position.
This part makes no sense to me. How did he contact them and sell them out ahead of time? He was in prison. How did he even know where they were going? I don't even know who Blackguard is. I don't even know why they trust him. And I don't even know why they're surprised that he would betray them.
Come on, everybody, look! They're right behind me! Oh,
Also,
hey.
didn't he just say it's just me and then said they're all right behind me?
Deal, right?
Why does he stand up? How does he not get shot in the head when he's doing this? I mean, it's so dumb. It makes no sense. It's funny, I get it. No, it's not even that. It's not even funny.
I didn't pick the damn team!
It just makes no sense. I mean, this is reasonable that he would just fucking fail, but it's also reasonable that they're about to kill him. By the way, I want you to notice
This is your last chance.
how calm she is right now, because that's going to come into play a little later. So this is one of the aspects I think a lot of people loved, is like the very comic book transitions that are going on, which I'm not a comic book fan, so I didn't get a lot out of that. I don't mind it or anything.
Terrible father.
Hey, I didn't ask to be a father in the first place,
You make
right?
that perfectly
Your mother!
clear.
Oh, I tried to lay off her, but then she dragged out the paternity test.
Fuck you!
No, fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! To get me to lead your shite fucking mission.
So we just had a scene where he's talking to his daughter about how he doesn't care about her, how he's a disappointment to her, how they have a terrible relationship, and how he basically doesn't wish that she was around and wants her to stay away from him. And now we're going to be expected to believe that he's going to join the Suicide Squad, which he previously said he would not do, because she's threatening his daughter. I have such a hard time believing that somebody like this is going to be like put into a state of rage because his daughter has been threatened.
Everyone stand down.
Miss Waller, I don't...
Stand down!
Why does she get so animated there? She has this entire time been so under control, and then all of a sudden she
If this mission
freaks
is
out.
more important-
I love her, except for those moments where she just kind of loses her control for like no reason, because the rest of the time she's just so cold and calculating and like decisive. Probably the best character in this movie. Not gonna lie.
Talk?
King Shark's fantastic.
Wow. Book's upside down. You see that? It's pretending to read a book. So smart, me. Enjoy books so much.
Be a
Yes, we know it's now. Thank you, Leaves.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
Now. You're looking at now, sir. Everything that happens now is happening now.
What happened to then?
We passed that.
When?
Just now. We're at now.
This whole scene reminds me of like the X-Force scene in Deadpool 2, except like not as shocking or as meaningful or as funny.
Carry it for who? For what? What the heck? Who am I supposed to carry it for?
How ironic.
I don't believe he would do that. He has very kind eyes.
Hungry.
You bastard!
I know friends.
You have no friends. If you did, would you eat them?
No.
I love how he says like he doesn't know.
If I die because I gambled on love, it will be a worthy death. Friends.
Fish are friends, not food.
This scene is so well shot. I do love it. It is a lot of fun. And their little competition thing is a fun little gambit. But how do none of these guys like see them or hear anybody screaming?
No one likes to show off.
Unless what they're showing off is dope as fuck.
Fuck. That's true.
Why did my people not alert me of your arrival?
You didn't see any people.
I didn't see anybody on the way.
There's no one out
They
there.
were gone when we got
I
here.
turned them into my mother in my head and killed them.
Con un arma tan peligrosa, el mundo nos va a tomar en serio.
Really, will they?
And there's no one but me capable of controlling it.
So that was a fucking lie.
I'm a princess.
I mean, when you look like Margot Robbie. So here's where I really started to have big problems with this movie. Because everything that happens to Harley Quinn is just useless. She gets captured. She gets brought to this palace. She meets the president, Luna. They bang. He tells her that he's an evil guy. She kills him. And then the more evil second-in-command general takes control and she is captured. Does President Luna have any purpose in this movie? Is there any purpose to Harley getting captured? Does it tell us anything about her as a character?
No.
All this stuff, you could cut it out and it wouldn't matter. This is the Canto Bite of this movie, in my opinion.
Everywhere.
Ha 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 ha.
I'm gonna get you out of here alive.
I'm going to get you out of here alive.
And that turns out to be true, which is kind of nice. It's a kind of nice moment, but it doesn't really land for me because his fear of rats has nothing to do with like his weakness, which is how he treats his daughter. It didn't like cause him to become like an a-hole dad, I don't think, or at least if it did, like that's not obvious. See, this scene I like. It's good. It like this good bonding. I like this scene.
It's simply the death touch. How to kill a man with a single blow.
Pai Mei taught it to them.
How many Meta-Power teammates arrived with you to Corto Maltese?
69.
69? Got him!
Oh, now we're gonna do the thing where he takes his eye off the prisoner who's clearly still conscious, and she's gonna get the jump on him. I'm not gonna lie. Of all the ways to die, with Harley Quinn's legs wrapped around you, worst ways to go. This scene was brought to you by Quentin Tarantino. Alright, now I know everybody and their mother, like, has had a conniption about this whole scene and how great it was. Although I don't know how she doesn't get dizzy doing this. Also, is she like a martial artist? See, that's the Harley Quinn that I'm expecting to see.
What are you guys doing?
We're here to save you.
You were gonna save me?
Aww. He's stroking her with the gun.
You two all right, yeah?
Neutralize the soldiers there, enter.
Once we're inside, we separate into teams.
I am walking back and forth.
Okay, you're gonna lead me and Ratcatcher to Project Starfish.
Hey! Trailer shot right there. Where the fuck did she get an apple? What is he looking at when he's shooting? These people are just walking in the middle of the street. None of the soldiers can hit them?
Oh no, they're shooting at us! Good thing bad guys are such terrible shots.
Man, these guys are elusive.
You get a bomb, you get a bomb.
Harley and I will meet you up on the second floor, yeah? All right. God damn it, no. No.
God damn you, Bernice.
God damn you, Bernice! Oh.
Why the... It's actually very nice. Just put it against the wall.
I thought you were looking for Project Starfish. Oh, please. Unclutch your fucking pal's flag. Child, your government didn't send you here to protect the world from alien technology. Your government sent you here to cover up their part in it.
Who are you going to show that to?
Press. Goddamn people deserve to know.
Miss Waller charged me with making sure those records don't leave this building.
Why would she charge him with it and not Rick Flag? In watching it back, the logic and the machinations behind like why Peacemaker would be against releasing it and why Rick Flag would be you know, against him, it makes sense, I guess. Oh! Why wouldn't he just smash it? Is my question. Ooh! I really can't believe that they killed off Rick Flag like that.
Give me back the drive.
Got a blast!
Aww. Nanaue is just too pure for this movie. No!
We killed Milton! Milton was still with us? Where did you think he was? I don't know. I thought he stayed back with the bus.
Who's Milton?
What?
I don't remember any Milton. That guy, Milton.
Hey! Oh, no! Oh, I really thought Nanaue was dead there.
Fuck off!
His legs are not completely shattered. My thoughts exactly, dude. I mean, if you couldn't kill a fucking big shark, why do you think shooting that is gonna kill it? He should, the general, the president, should be aware of, like, what these things do.
Cover your faces!
Like, Fukurami is just, like, covering his face like this. Like, why isn't everybody doing that?
This city is mine.
Sorry, am I really supposed to take this movie serious with that sort of shit going on?
We've got a freaking kaiju up in this shit!
Today we are canceling the apocalypse!
So here's my question, because this is the big finale of the movie, as it were, and they're about to disobey Waller and go and try and destroy Starro on their own, and she's gonna like freak out and lose her shit. Why does she care? She just very matter-of-factly said the objective of the mission is complete. They destroyed the Jotunheim. They destroyed the records within. She doesn't know that they didn't. But she really be that upset if they destroyed Starro? It's not like they can control it. It's not like this won't spread to, you know, other countries into the US. Like, theoretically, she should be all for them going and destroying Starro. Or at the very least, she shouldn't care. And yet, watch how she reacts when they're about to disobey her and try and probably get themselves killed destroying this giant starfish.
Krill, turn around now! Turn back now, goddammit! Open it!
Like, she's losing her shit because they're not listening to her. Like, let them go. If they die, they die. And if they don't, then you can just kill them.
This is your last motherfucking warning!
That was an overreaction.
Very cool gun, and I have no idea what it does.
Hey, Monster is Num Num! Monster Num Num? Yes! Ha! It's your mom! I'm a motherfucking super...
Ugh. Bloodsport, it really is cool, like how he just has all these weapons constantly on him.
This city is mine!
Okay, Karen.
Cities.
I never want to hear any shit about how, in Endgame, a rat is the reason that, the world got saved when we have to watch this in Suicide Squad. It's so dumb. Not that it's bad.
Why rats, Papa?
Good question.
So why male models?
Sheesh. How is she not... Like, I don't think that's water in there. I don't know, actually. I'm not a biologist. If you're a biologist, let me know. Is, like, the inside of an eye water? Like, could you just, like, theoretically survive in there? Because I feel like it can't be good for you. Oh, I forgot about her.
I told you I'd make you a leader, Dubois.
You got a deal.
Look, I know Flag wanted to give the drive to the press, but we just saved the whole bloody scene.
Did it, Patrick! We saved the city!
Flag was my friend.
Mine too.
And yet neither of you seem to care that much that he died.
I could be your friend, Milton.
Not my name.
Aww, it's little Sebastian.
What? Yes!
Oh my god!
Oh my god! I never thought I'd get to meet him!
It's really him!
Well done, Leslie. Well done.
Alright, so I just finished my second viewing of The Suicide Squad and just recorded my reaction. And I have to say, on second viewing, I actually do think that I enjoyed the movie a lot more than I did on the first viewing. I honestly do think that on the second viewing, my expectations were just much lower, and so I was kind of able to enjoy the movie for what it is. But that doesn't mean that all of the issues that I saw in the first viewing weren't still there. But it does mean that there are some things that I maybe didn't give the movie enough credit for on the first viewing, so I want to talk about some of those before I talk about some of the big bad things that, to me, still held the movie back a bit. So talking about the good, first of all, we have the humor, which I thought was very dark and very black. There were some sequences of jokes that on the second viewing I found to be a lot funnier than I did on the first time. And like I said, I really admire James Gunn for having a way to fit like little jokes into serious scenes and not have them feel too like jokey. The jokes felt very organic. They felt very true to the characters that were doing them, and I really enjoyed the humor. So the second point to its favor is that the characters were very simple, and I don't mean that as a disservice to it at all. What I mean is that these characters really didn't do much changing over the course of this movie. Really, in this movie, there were just so many characters, it's kind of rare that you would get to see an ensemble movie where characters are going through like big arcs. And in this movie, we had just so many. It was nice to just kind of be able to sit there and chill out with these characters and see them interact with each other, see their humor and their philosophies kind of bounce off of each other. That was very fun, and I kind of appreciate that a little bit more now that I don't have those high expectations. And speaking of characters, I have to give a shout out to my favorite character from this movie, which is King Shark, aka Nanawe. He's such a himbo in this movie. He is, you compare what he did in this movie to what Killer Croc was in the original Suicide Squad. This is what you want out of a, big, bulky, meathead monster. And he was very unintentionally hilarious in just so many ways. I love him. I hope that they bring him back in some manner in the DCEU. Another character I want to shout out is somebody that I think a lot of people are giving a lot of praise to, which is Ratcatcher 2. I thought she was fantastic. I thought she brought a lot of heart and earnestness to the movie, which really kind of softened Bloodsport, which you kind of saw. He was really the character that went through the most change, and it was a lot because of her. I do have some things that I want to say about not fully being bought into that, but I thought her performance was very good. So now onto the bad. The first thing that kind of hung me up is the fact that we really don't know what this movie is as far as being a reboot versus a remake. What I mean is, am I supposed to consider what happened in the first Suicide Squad movie to be canon? And am I supposed to consider what everything else that's gone on in the DCEU, most notably Birds of Prey, to be canon? It seems like a lot of the change that Harley Quinn went through in Birds of Prey is still present in the Suicide Squad. And she talks about how she and Rick Flag are friends, and, she has that relationship with Captain Boomerang. So that all indicates that, Suicide Squad was canon and was a thing that happened. But it's also weird because there's never any reference to the fact that those other adventures between Harley and Captain Boomerang and Rick Flag ever happened. There's no reference to anybody that was in the original Suicide Squad. So it's almost like we want to toe this line where, yeah, it happened, but don't ever think about it, which kind of irks me a little bit. The way that Harley Quinn behaved in Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey is a little bit more towards the psychotic side than the quirky, goofy side that she kind of is in the Suicide Squad. So that's a little bit of an anachronism that I wish would be addressed. And on that same topic, I want to talk about the characters and how inconsistent they can be. I touched on this throughout my reaction. Characters kind of behave in ways that don't seem consistent with how they are presented to us. For instance, Bloodsport initially comes off as somebody who doesn't care about his daughter and doesn't really care about anybody. and then he's kind of compelled to work for Waller and the Suicide Squad. It kind of doesn't feel authentic, just because of the interaction that we see between him and his daughter, and then the interaction he immediately has with Waller. And speaking of Waller, I think I mentioned this in the reaction, but I don't like how they kind of took her from just a calm, cool, calculated, and very cutthroat person to all of a sudden she just rages out for no reason. I thought that was very inconsistent, and I didn't really like it because I like Amanda Waller a lot better when she has that sort of commanding presence of just being on top of the game. Harley Quinn, as I kind of mentioned, she's often very goofy in this movie, and I don't like it as much as the psychotic sort of vibe we got from her in Birds of Prey and the original Suicide Squad. In Birds of Prey, she's got a hyena named Bruce Wayne in her house. In this movie, she's like jumping around, like, don't step on the cracker, you'll break your mother's back. It's like, is this the same person? She doesn't really. She seems like maybe she's been in therapy. I don't know. Again, this is a whole thing about like the reboot remake kind of being an issue. Another point that I have to point out, which I don't think a lot of people are going to disagree on, is that the antagonists are very underwhelming. And I mean that from the sense that they don't really challenge the main heroes in a real way. Two generals, President Luna and then his right-hand man, the General, who, by the way, is so generic, I don't even remember his name having sat through the movie. Neither of them really are physically overwhelming to them. They're not, causing them to have to consider some sort of moral dilemma or really challenge any of the heroes' own beliefs. And Starro is really just a generic, giant monster that they got to kill. I don't think that's necessarily a terrible thing. I think there's a time and place to just, fight the big monster. But I really, it just makes me feel underwhelmed that there's no reason for these people to fight against the antagonists other than the fact that they were told to. And then finally, I've mentioned in the video a number of times, the story structure is a mess. I think there are a lot of times where it kind of starts and stops and goes back, which is a bit of a callback to like the comic books and how those are kind of structured. Again, I'm not a comic book reader myself, so I didn't get as much out of that, and it kind of took me out of it when we go forward then back. I didn't hate it, but it kind of irked me a little bit. And then also I noted that there are just like side plots that don't matter at all. I went into Harley's whole detour with Luna and her getting captured and how essentially none of it mattered. There's also everything that had to do with the rebels. Like, you didn't need them in this movie. There's honestly, if you cut out everything about like the generals and just made it a military coup and the threat was that Starro was going to be released or something, I think the movie's plot is a lot more streamlined, and you could really spend a lot more time on character development rather than talking about these villains that we really don't care about. So last but not least, I am going to go ahead and put this movie into my tier list. This is going to be something that I'm going to do throughout as I am watching and reacting to movies, just putting movies on a tier list of where I consider them to be in terms of enjoyability. It's not like I'm not going to do like a number or a grading system. If I was to give this a number before I watched, after the first watch, I would say I'd probably give it a 6, and after my second watch, probably a 7, maybe a 7.5. But I'm just going to put it on a tier list here with all the other movies so we can kind of understand where movies fall in terms of enjoyability, at least for me. If you like this movie more than me, if you really hated it, that's totally fine. I'm just giving you where I would put it. Going on down this tier list, you have the S tier, which is, Desert Island movies. These are classics. These are movies that, I name among my favorites. I love these movies. I gotta watch them. They're, all the time I'm going back and watching these. Then the A tier is the movies that I'm constantly going out and seeking and rewatching. They might not be like the highest of high, but they are movies that I am always going to watch and enjoy. B is what I would call a cable movie. That's the movie that if you're like flipping around the TV channels, watching TV, and you see X movie is on, you stop and you watch. C is kind of the lesser of that. It's more like if I'm in the right mood and I happen to see that movie is on, then I'll watch. It's not an automatic like, oh, I'm gonna stop and watch this. It's gonna be like, oh, maybe I haven't seen that in quite a while, so I'm gonna stop and watch. D tier is movies that I would say, you know what, once was enough. I saw it, I watched it, probably not gonna go back and watch it again. And then F tier is this movie robbed 2 hours of my life and I want it back. So with all of that being said, having watched this movie twice, I'm gonna put The Suicide Squad into my C tier. It is a movie that I enjoyed and I'll probably end up watching again, but I'm not actively searching it out, and I'm not going to, if I see it on cable, I might stop and watch it, but I might not. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this movie, what you think I was right or wrong about in my reactions or breakdown. I am going to do a full-on plot of the movie breakdown coming up and kind of go through why I think the structure of the movie is a little bit messy, and I will also, like I said, pull out some of the more interesting topics that I found, or maybe that you guys find if you put something in the comments that you want me to talk about a little bit more. So thank you everybody for watching. Please go ahead, give this a like, give it a subscribe, all that jazz, and take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.